All right, guys, today I want to talk about a sensitive topic, cancer. Now, Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales, came out recently and said she had been diagnosed with cancer, and I personally know several friends and associates who've gotten cancer as early as their 30s and early 40s. And I wanted to talk about this subject because cancer rates and cancer risk can be controlled. Okay, you can lower your cancer risk, all right? Now, if you look at this chart by the National Cancer Institute, cancer rates from 1975 till now have gone up 400% and is projected to go up even more. And the reason for that is because there's a lot of chemicals and stuff around us and in our diets which are upping the rates of cancer, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. Now, this topic basically became something that was important to me after, people I've known who are no longer with us because of cancer. But last week I posted up my CRP levels, which is my C-reactive protein levels. That is the indication of my inflammation. And basically over winter, when I was eating a lot of processed foods for 2.5 months for an experiment, not only did I get fat and I gained weight very rapidly, I gained 1 kilo a week over 10 weeks. So I gained 22 pounds in 10 weeks. I also upped my inflammation to 6 on my CRP blood work. And when I cut out the processed foods, in a matter of just over 50 days, my CRP level went back to almost 0. And my doctor friend, who's had almost 20 years clinical experience and now has his own clinic, immediately messaged me and goes, "Wow, your CRP level went from 6 down to almost 0? And the reason he approached me is because when he was working in the emergency room, they would often see people with a CRP reading of between 2 and 10. Okay, so they did the blood work on patients for their CRP because if they've had some sort of injury and they have a massive CRP level, they might have something like sepsis, and they want to make sure, they want to spot what's wrong with the patient. But he always saw this low-grade inflammation amongst the patients. And low-grade inflammation is a primary cause of cancer, especially cervical and colon cancer. And you can lower your inflammation, which is exactly what I did when I cut out the processed foods. So there's 3 things you want to cut out in your diet, all right? The first thing are monocrops and grains, such as soy, corn, and wheat, because they're sprayed with a lot of herbicides such as glyphosate, and also herbicides are on a lot of plants and even fruits, okay? So you want to make sure, even if you eat it, to wash everything thoroughly, but you will still get residual amounts of glyphosate, which is really bad for your gut health, and depending on source will tell you either it is not associated with cancer or there's evidence that it will up your cancer risk, all right? So you want to avoid corn, wheat, and soy, which are pretty much in all processed food, most processed foods, all right? And unfortunately, even stuff like peas, lentils, spinach, and kale so a lot of plants will have these herbicides sprayed on them. And if you want to avoid these and still get the nutrition you need, then just eat some liver every week. It's about 100 grams of liver for a guy or 50, 60 grams for a woman. Will give a very high nutrient dense, like address all your nutritional needs apart from, say, vitamin C, all right? In fact, you don't want to eat too much liver because you can get poisoning from having too much nutrients. Or eat a lot of red meat, all right? So beef and lamb are very healthy for you. Do not worry about saturated fats or cholesterol giving you a heart attack. That is based on faulty research. I've done a video already on that. The second thing you want to cut out from your diet is sugar and carbohydrates in general. Now, when carbohydrates enter your body, the enzymes will convert it into sugar. When you eat a lot of table sugar, sucrose is basically 50% glucose and 50% sucrose. When it enters your body, your blood glucose level goes up, and then your insulin levels goes up to bring it down. The problem with insulin levels repeatedly going very high, and over many years is that you will get something called insulin resistance. Now, not everyone will be insulin resistant, but a lot of people in the population are. In fact, most Americans, so over 50% of Americans are already insulin resistant, and insulin resistance causes inflammation as well via a monocyte, which is called, like a cell signaling, a monocyte called monocyte chemoattractant protein 1, okay, MCP1, okay, this will up your inflammation, okay, and again, inflammation, if it's prolonged, chronic, will up your cancer risk. So you want to reduce your carbohydrate intake as much as possible, which is why recently I've been experimenting with what's called a carnivore diet, eating just meat and eggs, or you at least go on a ketogenic diet, which is basically meats and plants as well, but I would advise to go heavily meat-based. And the third thing you want to avoid are vegetable oils or seed oils, oils such as canola, corn, soy, sunflower, cottonseed, and palm oil. A lot of these oils are in processed foods that, like in chips, Americans say chips or crisps, but snacks, and they're used to fry stuff like fries in fast food. These oils are from plants, but they're processed in a way with very high heat and pressure, and they're deodorized with chemicals. So when they enter your body, they cannot become part of your body. Basically, your body cannot turn them to part of your tissue, and it causes a lot of oxidative stress, and that causes inflammation as well. So again, this is why when I ate processed foods over the winter, my CRP level, my inflammation immediately went up. So you just want to cut out the processed foods from your diet. And honestly, like this really explains why cancer rates have gone up along with obesity rates, because since the 1970s, especially 1980s, when the USDA introduced the I would say faulty food pyramid, people started shifting off more high meat-based foods to high carbohydrate, highly processed foods, and it significantly upped the obesity rate as well as the cancer risk. All right, so I want to say now, if you watched the video up to this point, do me a favor, like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll try to make more content about how to boost your health, and I'll see you in the next video.